The World Series of Poker is famous. Who doesn't want to go to Las Vegas?
Tonight, one of poker's crown jewels, the 7-card stud world championship.
7-card stud, shuffle up and deal now.
It's the biggest stud event in the world.
Oh, baby.
The best players in the stud world are in this tournament.
Wow.
144 of the greatest poker players began, and now we're down to a fantastic final table.
Yes!
Among those who remain, the great European showman Marcel Luske. And 2 players looking for redemption after finishing second in earlier tournaments. John Juanda.
It's nice to have a second chance, you know.
And Joe Awada, who had his first World Series bracelet snatched from him by a brutal bad beat.
Hopefully this time it won't happen again, and I'll have Lady Luck on my side.
Tonight, it's not just the money or the bracelet, it's the title.
If you win, you can name yourself world champion.
Welcome to the World Series of Poker presented by Miller High Life. Tonight, the World Championship of 7-card stud. Lots of action already at the final table. Phyllis Myers is eliminated in 9th place.
Hold in.
Dewey Tomko, holder of 3 World Series bracelets, finishes in 8th place. And 72-year-old Ralph Levine is our 7th place finisher. Hello again, everybody. I'm Lon McCarron alongside Norman Chad, and welcome to tonight's World Championship of 7-card stud. We have 6 players remaining, all whom are veterans of a final table, but only John Juanda has a World Series championship bracelet.
The wild card here tonight, Lon, is the Flying Dutchman, Marcel Luske. He is wild, and he is a card.
And there is a good look at Marcel Luske from Amsterdam, Holland, finished 14th in the main event last year.
And here's John Juanda, who was second in this year's $1,000 no-limit Hold'em event at the World Series.
And you may remember Joe Awada. He lost in heartbreaking fashion to Scott Fishman. Joe was 1 card away from winning the tournament, and he lost ultimately, but a terrific battle. And our chip leader at the table right now is Nick Frangos with 200,000 chips. In stud, each player is dealt 2 cards face down, 1 face up.
And the player with the low card showing has to bring it in with a forced bet. That will be John Juanda.
And the first to act will be Marcel Luske. He's got a 7 on top, and the Miller High Life Pocket Cam shows he's got a 7 and 5 underneath for a pair of 7s. To our chip leader, Nick Frangos, he has a 9 on top. His whole cards are 9 and 5. He's got a pair of 9s.
How much you got left?
You mean after we finished? Here? After we finish, I got them all.
I can't see if you have any chips. I mean, it's not a joke. Yeah, how much we finish when we're done?
When we're done, I got 720,000 in
720?
That's the total number of chips in play.
Can we bet on that?
Oh, how much you give me?
Raise it.
Nick will raise to 10,000. You note the shaded cards on the screen designate a player's whole cards. Action over to John Juanda. He'll fold. Marcel calls the raise.
2 players.
And when a player acts, you'll see the cards on screen move to show the strength of their hand.
So right now, their pairs are on the left. Frangos bets, and Marcel immediately calls.
5th Street, cards come out. 3 for Luske, 2 for Frangos, a straight draw for Luske.
Frangos bets, and Marcel, who's playing like he has a train to catch,
The way of no return.
will call immediately. Frangos still ahead, and Marcel is playing kind of loose here. Just a pair of 7s with the inside straight draw.
Here comes 6th Street. Nick bets enough to put Marcel all in.
Yeah, Marcel must want to go home. He has played this hand calling down with just an inside straight draw.
With Luske all in, all the cards are turned face up, but the river card comes face down.
I like a little 4.
He needs that for the straight.
Put him between here.
And it's a queen for Frangos. Still a pair of 9s.
I don't want to make 2 pair. I want to make a straight.
Frangos had to show his cards first because he had the high hand on board, and now he's got to wait to see if Marcel can squeeze out a straight or a second pair.
2 pairs, 7s and 5s.
Yes, sir!
Marcel Luske pulls it out.
Give me all the money. Maybe I double up one more time. I get in the mood.
Marcel Marceau is still alive. Alive and well.
I thought Marcel was silent, though, wasn't he?
Not this one, ain't.
Just like Hold'em, luck can be found on the river card in 7-card stud. Here are the Miller High Life rules for 7-card stud. Each player is initially dealt 3 cards. 2 are down, and 1 comes face up. Players must then decide for the first time whether they're in or they're out. The next 3 cards are all dealt face up, with a round of betting after each card. The 7th and final card is dealt face down. After one last round of betting, players still in will reveal what they have. And as always, the best 5 cards wins the hand and takes the pot. 6 players left at the 7-card stud championship table.
Pictures. Where are the pictures?
He needs some high cards, but he'll bet on anything.
Try.
Corey Zeidman right there. He finished 39th in the main event last year, but doesn't like his cards.
Trying.
John Juanda folding as well. Now back to Marcel Luske. He's got a 7 on top, queen 2 underneath.
Boy,
Let's get in the field.
Marcel came to roll the dice today. He's got nothing.
Now over to Nick Frangos. He has a 6 on top, and he's got a 6 in the hole now with a pair of 6s. And Nick will raise to 10,000. Marcel will call it.
Maybe he got something this time.
I guess I had nothing last time.
So Frangos and Luske go heads up once again. 4th Street comes, no help. Frangos bets his 6s. Marcel calls immediately.
Let me see. Maybe I can hit something once in a while.
Now on 5th Street, Frangos picks up an up and down straight draw with his 6s, but it is Marcel who's representing a flush with 3 hearts showing who's going to bet. And Marcel wanted Frangos to go away, but Frangos will play with his pair.
And now out comes 6th Street. Still a queen high for Luske. Nick will check, but Marcel's coming back.
Yeah, he's playing as if he has the flush, so he bets again. And Frangos calls immediately. He has by far the best hand with 6s.
How much money you got? Can you move the other hand, please?
Frangos needs to hire somebody to keep track of Marcel's chips.
All right, Nick's river card is a jack, no help.
Check it.
He still has just a pair of 6s. Now action over to Luske.
Yeah, Luske cannot win this unless he bets at the pot, and he's going to bet in the dark, hoping that Frangos goes away.
But he doesn't. Frangos calls immediately. And now the cards Luske shows his nothing.
2 6s.
And the 2 6s win it for Frangos. Back at you.
Bully me, man. I'm a bully.
So Nicky Frangos gets back all the chips and then some that he gave away to Marcel Luske in the previous hand.
My money. My money.
You see, life is give and take. I took it, I give it.
Yeah, but you took and then you gave.
Yeah.
And the last one to take wins.
The World Series of Poker presented by Miller High Life.
You know, one day I saw somebody win a 7-card stud tournament with 1 chip. 1 chip.
You can do it. I've done it.
So I thought, can I save a chip for later then?
It's important to note, Lon, that tonight's tournament, they're playing limit poker as opposed to no limit. There are limits to the amount each player can bet each round. Those limits go up as the night wears on.
Well, this limit event is number 24 of 33 here at the World Series. Of course, the big no-limit main event still to come. Marcel Luske with a king on top, ace high, and a couple of spades.
Seat 8's going to complete the action.
Now the rest of the table checks their cards. Looks like everybody gives it up now to John Juanda.
Lon, a proper selection of starting hands is the most important factor in playing good 7 stud.
Juanda has a pair of 5s.
Now, he normally wouldn't play here against the king door card, but he knows Marcel is a loose cannon, so he's going to see a card.
4th Street comes out. Both get 2s. Ace high still for Luske, but 3 spades.
Juanda still has the best hand with a pair of 5s, though he's an underdog to win this hand, and he'll see another card for the cheap price.
Now to 5th Street. And a 4th spade for Luske. Only 2 are face up.
And he comes out firing, and one of the rules in 7-card stud is no free cards on 5th Street. So he wants John Juanda to pay the bigger price if he wants to continue drawing in his hand. I'm surprised that Juanda decides to call right there. Right now, he's lost that early flush draw. He just has the pair of 5s. He'll play.
And now 6th Street Luske picks up another king, but Juanda's got a chance at a straight.
Luske is now showing a pair of kings, and this is going to be a tough hand for Juanda to get away from. He has a pair of 5s with a straight draw, and he knows he might pick up a big pot if he makes this straight.
And with that in mind, Juanda will call.
It was probably time to fold. His head said to get out, but his hand just moved forward.
Now the river card face down. For Luske, it is that 2 of diamonds back there.
He gives him 2 pair, and he's going to fire again. He's very aggressive. In his position, a lot of players might have checked because the player against them is on a draw, and if they make the draw, they're going to raise.
Now Juanda, oh, that's dangerous. He got another 4.
Yeah, he missed the straight. He has 2 pair. He's staring at kings, and he's got to figure that Marcel has better than the kings.
So much money in the pot.
Right now, $79,000 in the pot. He had a chance to get away, but right now it's getting more and more difficult.
Yeah, he's deep into it, and he's going to be crippled chip-wise if he calls and loses.
You probably got me, but there's so much money in the pot.
He's pot committed, and now he sees the bad news. Marcel Luske wins the hand.
Yeah, this was a case where you don't chase because one bad call leads to another, and before you know it, you're in a marriage you can't get out of.
Juanda now the low stack at the table.
I can feel it. I can feel it.
Well, he doesn't have any World Series bracelets, but as one of the best Euro players, he feels it a lot.
I'm Marcel Luske, and I'm from Holland, Amsterdam. I do crazy things on the table.
Yes, sir!
I wear my sunglasses upside down. It breaks their concentration if they look at you, because something is not right and they don't know what. No woman, no cry. I like to sing 100 times more than I like to play poker. No woman, no cry. Sometimes you're singing and then people start to say, hey, that's nice what you're singing. Marianne, why don't you be? Of course you get sometimes people who say, well, hey, cut it out. It's like I'm sending out my signals on the table, and whatever comes back to me as a feedback gives me the information I want.
Yes!
It's a mind game.
And the glasses go very well with the inside-out hat.
The only thing he's missing, Lon, is a little propeller on top of the beanie.
And you see our Toyota chip count with Nick Frangos on top, John Juanda with a lot of ground to make up. As we continue with the 7-card stud World Championship at the Horseshoe.
Are you all right over there? You're comfortable like this?
I hope my arms are going to get, the chip's going to get in the way of my arms in a little while.
You know, we have the same hope. We hope the same.
Nick Frangos, mostly a cash player in Atlantic City, but no stranger to the final tables here. Jeffrey Lisandro, born in Australia, but lives in Italy. We've already seen him in a show this year at a final table, Pot Limit Omaha. And Lisandro decides to come in with 3 cards to a queen high straight. Over to Joe Awada. He's got a queen up and a queen in the hole, a pair of queens. And he is going to raise and make it 10,000.
Yeah, he has a legitimate hand at this point.
John Juanda now squeezing a couple of 8s in the hole.
He's going to raise. He's pretty much decided it's now or never with his short stack.
Lisandro gets out of the way.
That's the right call. Okay, we're going to go all in there.
Yeah, Juanda's not going to have much choice. He lost most of his chips in that duel against Luske. Oh,
Put it in, John.
Well, he wants to double check that he has the pair in the hole before he commits the rest of them.
So John Juanda is now all in.
Okay, John, I got dead cards, but I got pair of queens.
That's good so far.
Awada saying he has dead cards, referencing the fact that one of his queens and one of his jacks were already out with other hands that folded.
So now John Juanda at risk of being out of this championship. Now the 4th Street, no help for either.
7.
5th Street, Awada with 3 queens.
Juwanda's going to need a lot of clubs or a lot of 8s.
6th Street.
Full house.
And Awada does have it. It is queens over 7s. John Juanda eliminated in 6th place. He'll earn almost $34,000. He's had a nice World Series, 3 final tables, earnings of almost $260,000. And for Joe Awada, a great boost to his chip stack as he seeks his first World Series bracelet.
The World Series of Poker presented by Miller High Life. 7-card stud.
Welcome back to the World Series of Poker. And with the increased crowds here, they've got some overhead screens to show the fans what's going on at the table.
I haven't had a rush here yet. I haven't had a rush all night. You've had 6 rushes already.
Corey Zeidman.
It's coming. Be ready, because you're right behind me. You're going to re-raise me. It's going to be beautiful.
If you're in it, maybe I pass straight away.
Yeah.
Watch.
Let me have a look. Here's the gun.
Zeidman folds over to Luske, who has a king up, and an ace and a queen. Nice start. He'll bet 5,000. Over to Nick Frangos. He's got a 2 up and ace high.
It's gamble.
He's gambling. He's definitely pining for a piece of Marcel.
These two are quickly becoming arch enemies at the table, and they come up with straight draws on 4th Street.
As usual, these two quickly bet and quickly called.
And now 5th Street. Frangos still only with a straight draw, and Luske now with this straight draw, he's got 2 jacks.
With 3 clubs, you have 3 clubs?
Normally you might bet those jacks on 5th Street, but he's worried that Frangos has the flush.
That's all, just 3 clubs.
Sometimes you're funny with these. So funny.
I'll tell you, Lon, I don't think these guys are ever going to go to Club Med together.
They both check after 5th Street, now 6th Street, and they both get a straight. Luske with an ace-high straight, Frangos with an ace-low straight.
And Luske's hand cannot be beat now, as the check mark indicates, and he's going to bet.
I raise.
He'll raise to 20,000. No reason to think he doesn't have the best hand.
Funny, because I know you're going to do it.
And now it causes concern for Marcel's. He believes that maybe Frangos slow played the flush. And he can't win the hand if Frangos has a flush.
Give the man a bet. Let's see the last card.
He will call it. And now we go to the river. Now, Norm, even though we know Luske has the best hand, what's he thinking?
He's thinking no card will improve his straight on the river. And if Frangos already has a flush, Marcel can't win the hand. And that's why he ends up checking in the dark.
For Frangos, a little more curious, even though that river card doesn't matter to him. Frangos goes for 10,000. Luske calls.
Straight.
You mean this one?
It's my straight.
Give me all the money, please.
Frangos is upset because he thinks Luske drew the straight on the river card.
Joke.
And that would have been a really bad beat if that was the case.
It's nice when you hit a card. You get applause.
Frangos didn't win that hand, but he wins a lot in cash games in Atlantic City, where he earned his chops the hard way.
Nick Frangos from Mays Landing, New Jersey. They used to call me Big Nick or Fat Nick. That's before I lost 140 pounds. So now they call me Little Nicky. When I first started Atlantic City, I was the black sheep of the family. I went there with my money, and that's it. If I went broke, I was dead. But I created my own luck. I worked hard. I ate at the table. I didn't go out. I didn't drink. All I did was play. And in 1 year, I turned my $10,000 into $1 million. Johnny Chan came to Atlantic City, sat next to me, and he said, "Hi, I'm Johnny Chan. You're that kid Nick I keep hearing about." You know, he was a world champion, you know, introducing himself to me. You know, that's big. Hard way to make an easy living, let me tell you. How many times have you gone to work and come home with less money than you went there with? Happens to me. A lot.
I've got to believe, Lon, that sitting next to me all day is probably a hard way to make an easy living.
Have I told you lately that I love you? Have I told you lately?
He sings much better than you.
Oh, Marcel seems genuinely hurt by that comment.
There's no one else but you.
Enough, they'll say.
Corey Zeidman would prefer to be at karaoke night at Sizzler.
Jeffrey Lisandro responsible for the bring-in. Over to Joe Awada, who has 1-5 up, 1 down. We call that split fives.
I raise.
And he will raise. Now the action over to Corey Zeidman, who last made a stud final table here at the World Series in 1997. And he has split queens.
And just in time, he's really short-stacked.
Corey will raise to 12,000 as the limits have gone up now at our championship table.
All right, we'll go. I raise.
4,000 more.
Awada raises enough to get Corey Zeidman all in.
Pretty much a coin flip, Zeidman with the queens, but Awada with his fives has an overcard with a king.
I need the king up here.
4th Street comes. No help for Awada, no improvement for Zeidman.
And that's good news for Zeidman, though. He's in a better position.
5th Street out, 3rd, 5 for Joe Awada.
Tough one for Zeidman, who starts to collect his personal effects.
Awada, big lead with 3 5s.
I thought threes were wild.
Zeidman's going to need a queen on the river to stay in this tournament.
Oops.
That's the queen he had already.
Turns over the 7 river card. He is eliminated by Joe Awada. Corey Zeidman wins $44,000 for 5th place.
Hey, go get him, man.
Nikki and Corey are good friends. They had breakfast together this morning. I'm sure they wanted to go heads up for this championship, but not to be today. As it is, Joe Awada and family win another hand, and he is our chip leader. Welcome back to the 7-Card Stud World Championship. You see our Toyota chip count. Joe Awada with 290,000 is the leader among the 4 remaining players here. At event number 24 of 33, we see a lot of players who have some family members with them to support them here in the casino. Well, Joe Awada has brought his own personal cheering section in the hopes that his family will help him break through.
I have 6 kids. I always carry my children's photographs. I don't believe things bring you luck and bad luck. I don't believe in that. But you know what they are to me, of course, they mean the whole world to me. And they come before anything else in the whole world. These are my only cheerleaders here, man. They're my only cheerleaders. My wife is really not a gamer kind of a person. She thinks I'm out of my mind, you know, playing, gambling, you know, especially when you have 5, 6 kids to support. I stopped playing for the past 7, 8 years when I started growing my business. Having a family and then starting a business, you know, something had to be given up. So, of course, I gave up poker. I got back into it just like last year. I said to myself, I'm going to play it in the tournament, the World Series this year and see what happens. And thank God I did.
Joe's got to be thrilled about making his 2nd final table at the series this year.
And he's recovered well from the brutal bad beat he took at the end of the 1st final table when he lost to Scott Fishman in Hold'em.
We continue 4-handed at this championship table. Joe Awada responsible for the bring-in bet, and he does bring the 2,000. Now over to Marcel Luske. He has a 5 up, keeping us all in suspense, and he's got 2 5s down below. When you have 3 5s,
that is rolled up. In stud, when you start with 3 of a kind, we call it rolled up. It's an incredibly powerful hand, and you often will slow play it, hoping other players come in.
Nick Frangos now with the raise. He's got a pair of kings.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble already, but understandably will raise with his pocket kings.
Over to Jeffrey Lisandro, who re-raises with 3 cards to a king-high straight. Nick would love that king that Lisandro has.
And now Marcel, who slow played these 3 5s, he just put in 2,000, equaling the bring-in, and may choose perhaps here to continue to slow play it, and he will.
3-way action continues. Frangos re-raises Lisandro. Lisandro calls that raise. Now back to Luske again.
One more chance to pull the trigger, but instead a rainbow call from Marcel.
82,000 in the pot. 3 players. And here comes 4th Street. No real help for any player. To Lisandro, who checks. Luske remains under the radar.
And the trap grows deeper for Nicky, who bets the pocket kings, which understandably he believes is best.
Lisandro called.
And let's see. Well, Marcel, I thought they might get a check raise there, Lon, but he's setting a big trap. And Lon, a big trap is bigger than a little trap.
5th Street now. No help to the players. Lisandro checks. Luske checks. Frangos bets. And Lisandro gets out of the hand.
Now Marcel springs to action with a check raise, and Nicky looks like someone told him he's got 24 hours to live.
That's so sick. Guess you're gonna break me.
And
nice hand.
The pot's so big, Nicky with no choice but to call, and this trap is gonna be his death now because it's gonna take away almost all his chips.
6th Street is a 9 for Luske. He's got a full house.
And he cannot lose the hand now.
Unreal.
And Nicky can do nothing but call.
Luske bets before the last card comes out on the river.
Can ask for more than this in the 3-way pot.
Well, he's looking for a straight or a second pair, but he is a dead man walking.
There's too much in there. I'd rather I'd have to think about it.
No option but to call it for Frangos, and Luske turns over the full house.
Perfectly executed by Marcel, the whole hand. Great discipline.
The chili decks continue.
They do indeed.
Unbelievable.
Nick has only 3 chips left. Meanwhile, Marcel Luske with a big and timely win, our chip leader.
I start to like this game.
Well, Nicky may be starting to hate this game. After the ante, he's only got 1 chip to play with.
Well, we heard Marcel say earlier he saw someone win a tournament when they only had 1 chip left. Nicky would love to show Marcel that trick again.
Let me know how I did.
Nick plays his last chip without looking at his hole cards, so we're not sure what they are, and then goes and takes a seat in the bleachers.
You can leave the playing field while you're playing?
I guess he can. Joe Awada with split aces.
Oh, geez. Nicky might as well just keep walking through the stadium tunnel.
Awada raises. Doesn't matter to Nicky Frangos.
I think Marcel's disappointed. He wanted to be the one to finish off Nicky, but he doesn't have the cards to do it.
But he still keeps everybody in suspense before folding.
Did I win? Oh, they definitely called, right? I can't. They can't fold. I'm in all in. I'm all in for 3,000. What do I have? Queens. I haven't looked yet.
We don't know what he has yet. We know he's got a queen up. Coming down from the press box.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, I got to squeeze. Oh, queens. At least I had
It's
something.
the queens he was hoping for.
Glimmer of life.
Queen. Wonderful.
He's up against 2 pair now.
Still need a queen.
Queen.
Fifth Street, no good.
Come on, this is slow torture, man. Come on, get me out already. All right, ace or queen now.
Ace or queen are his only hopes. And the river card. His last chance to stay in the tournament, Nick Frangos.
You just delaying. You just want to be on ESPN a few minutes longer, don't you?
Good hand, guys. Congratulations.
Nick Frangos eliminated in 4th place.
Yeah.
We're down to the final 3.
Give me my money. Let me go home.
We are now down to 3 for the World Series of Poker 7-card stud championship. Here's a look at our Toyota Player of the Year leaderboard. Men win and Daniel Negreanu neck and neck for the lead. Scott Fishman's won 2 bracelets here. He's in 3rd place. Earlier in the World Series, they were playing deuce to 7, Kansas City lowball.
That's 5-card draw playing for the best low hand. It was a small field of 46. Only the finest players in the world played this game.
Among them, Howard Lederer, who won a bracelet in this event in 2001. Phil Hellmuth was absent at the start of the day, arriving almost 3 hours late.
What's up, boys? Johnny, how you doing?
With the small field, this is a 1-day tournament, but it's a long 15-hour day for the players, and it's better if you have some food to go.
What a life, huh? Gambling, playing a high-limit tournament, having pizza.
These players are used to playing high-stakes poker for millions of dollars, including chip leader Barry Greenstein. In the poker world, money is power, but Barry's unique, donating tournament winnings to charity.
Almost all of the money I give away involves children. My main charity is Children Incorporated. We have 15,000 children in 21 countries. We're rebuilding a lot of orphanages and Children Incorporated facilities around the world. I've played poker my whole life and always felt like I was kind of throwing my life away and I could have done things that are important, could have helped the world out. And it took this long, but now I actually feel I am doing something to help out a lot of people. And if I do feel any pressure, when I get down to where I have the chip lead, I'm saying to myself, don't screw it up because there are people counting on me.
At the end of the day, the deuce to 7 championship came down to heads-up action between Barry Greenstein and Chris Jesus Ferguson.
What a duel. Greenstein, one of the best cash game players in the world, and Jesus, one of the best tournament players in the world.
When the cards were flipped over for the last time, Barry Greenstein was the deuce to 7 lowball champion. Greenstein wins his first World Series bracelet and $296,000 for the children. We are 3-handed for the 7-card stud world championship. You see the Toyota chip count. Marcel Luske and Awada are close, and for Jeffrey Lisandro, it will not take much of a hand to get him to play.
Come and get me, boys. Finish me off, one of yous.
Get in. Don't be shy.
You know we're trying, don't you? Might as well be honest about it. We're all trying to do that.
Sharks are circling.
They're all predators.
Well, at least they say what they really mean with a smile on their face. Marcel Luske with the bring-in bet. Over to Jeffrey Lisandro. We know he has one queen up. And another queen. Split queens and a jack kicker.
Now remember, split queens means one queen up, one queen in the hole.
Lisandro raises 6,000 to Luske.
Oh, and 3 cards to a straight flush. Marcel wants to play.
As you see on the screen, the shaded cards are the players' hole cards. Only they know what they are. And you at home. 4th Street, no improvement for Lisandro. 4 diamonds, though, for Luske.
Yeah, and now 3 chances for Marcel to make a flush, and Lisandro in a very precarious position.
He bet, Luske calls.
Oh. Marcel must have gone to church last Sunday to get these cards. A flush on 5th Street.
And Lisandro will raise all in, and Luske calls immediately.
Yeah, now Jeffrey sees that he's going to have some free time on his hands real soon.
6th Street now.
So more chances for Lisandro. He can still make a full house if he gets a queen or a jack. And with an ace of clubs, he would end up with a higher flush than Marcel and stay alive.
Lisandro's river card. Oh, it's ugly. It's a 5 of spades that will end his day. 3rd place and just over $74,000. And a nice effort from Jeffrey Lisandro. For Marcel Luske, he's increasing his chip leadership over Joe Awada as they get ready to go heads up for World Series of Poker bracelet.
The 21st of May.
Marcel serenades the table and begins his mind games on Joe Awada as the two prepare to go mano a mano for the bracelet. The outer tables here at the Horseshoe are playing Pot Limit Omaha while rocking to a little music of their own, as headphones are being allowed at the World Series for the first time this year, and that is the subject of this edition of The Nuts.
Headphones? What?
What? Huh? What? What?
They're allowing headphones this year, I guess. And if people want to listen to music while playing poker, I think they should be allowed to.
I'm listening to gospel music from Blind Faith.
Some sticks. Come sail away with me. That's a good song.
If you listen to like classical music, it creates an edge for you.
Listening to the Phantom of the Opera.
You can believe that.
Culture. That's me.
Right now, I'm not running too good, so I got to listen to some rap and get mean or something.
I need to play tight and sit back and be very, very patient. Listen to Enya. The air supply even. God help me.
People with headphones don't hear the verbal actions.
Did he raise? What did he do? Did he bet or he call?
So it actually slows down the game. And that's what I don't like about the headphones.
You know, with me, I think it looks stupid.
Heads-up action is about to begin for the World Championship of 7-card stud. Joe Awada looking for redemption from his bad beat earlier in the World Series when he finished 2nd. And the Flying Dutchman, Marcel Luske. Both men looking for their first World Series bracelet.
When you're in a poker game, you don't fear nobody.
Okay, we're gonna go all in now.
You just play your game.
It's not being big-headed that I think I have the best chance to win it.
Give me the money, damn it.
I like my chances.
I'm enjoying my rush right now.
I like my chances.
I feel like I'm on a mission. I want to win the bracelet. And I mean it. You're just too good to be true. Can't get my eyes over you. You're just like heavenly touch. Oh, I want to hold you so much.
A little dinner theater. When Marcel Luske or Joe Awada get their hands on that bracelet, it will be their first. As we go heads up now for this World Championship at the World Series of Poker, event number 24 of 33. Main event coming up in a couple of weeks. And Luske with the bring-in bet. Now Joe Awada has a jack up and a pair of 6s in the hole. The limits have been raised, 8,000 from Awada.
I'd be more impressed with Marcel if he kept singing when he's squeezing cards.
He's got a 5-up and a 7-6, 3 cards to a possible straight somewhere on the horizon. 4th Street.
7 ace of diamonds.
Still a pair of 6s for Awada.
Still ahead in the hand.
And a bet from Luske, and Awada calls.
Here comes the second verse. $20 cover, 2-drink minimum.
5th Street now, and Luske gets his own pair of 6s. He's got a higher kicker, though.
Yeah, if there's any more 6s in the deck, we've got a problem.
I raise.
And Awada is going to raise, even though he is behind in the hand, doesn't know it.
Briefly, Marcel stops the singing, but he'll call the raise and go back to serenading us. 6th Street now. With the Luske firmly in the lead. Now he's got 4 spades.
Yeah, he's still got the better hand, and now the better draw, the spade draw.
Marcel checks, Awada checks, to the river we go. Both cards down to Luske.
See, he stops singing again when he squeezes his cards.
And his cards are worthy of it. He's got aces up now. Over to Joe Awada, who has 2 pairs, 6s and 4s.
And Marcel is not showing a pair on the board, so Awada might think those 2 pair can win this thing.
Well, you do see the check mark next to Luske's card saying he has the best hand.
Aces up.
Aces up.
And now everybody knows it.
Nice hand, nice hand.
And Marcel Luske, who started with only 3 cards to a possible straight, comes away with aces up in the win. And Marcel has gotten into the head of Joe Awada. So you now look at our Toyota chip count, continuing heads up, 360 to 360.
I don't believe it's 360 to 360. Someone miscounted. Things never work out even, Steven, in this lifetime.
Heads up and even up. On our Miller High Life pocket cam, you see Luske with a queen jack underneath and an ace on top.
And he completes the bet. And usually you'd get rid of 10-9-6. But heads up, he'll take a look at a card.
And 4th Street, Awada picks up a pair of 6s and a straight draw for Luske.
Plus 4 overcards, so he's going to come out firing heads up. And Awada quickly calls.
Now 5th Street. And a pair of aces now for Luske, but 2 pair for Joe Awada.
This is dangerous territory for Joe Awada. Like John Juanda earlier, if he calls now, it may cost him a lot more down the road. Marcel has paired his door card. He has at least probably aces up or 3 aces, and he's still going to call him, even though he's got to believe he might be behind in the hand right now.
Joe Awada now on 6th Street has a full house and a check mark.
My goodness, Lon. He started with no pair, and he has a full house on 6th Street.
And Luske will bet 16,000. Awada raises to 32. And Luske calls right at him.
Yeah, Luske cannot suspect this hand from Joe Awada.
So the river card now will come face down to both players.
And remember, Marcel is drawing dead here. No card can give him a winning hand against Awada.
And now his final card. Oh, that could only hurt him. That could only cost him money. 2 pair now.
He's made aces up.
And he'll bet 16,000 to Awada.
Now, Awada actually has an interesting decision here. He's obviously not going to fold. But he may fear that Marcel has even a stronger hand than Marcel has. So he's either considering a call or a raise. He'd hate to be raising into an aces full house. So he might just call.
Joe Awada will raise to 32, and alarms have to be going off in Marcel Luske's head.
Yeah, now he's trying to see through Awada's down cards. This is the problem for Marcel. He's got a good-looking board, a pair of aces. His opponent raised him on 6th Street with that board, and now has raised him again, indicating his opponent, that is, that he can beat aces up or 3 aces.
How committed is he to the pot? Not enough to stay in.
Big laydown.
Wow.
He shows the aces up, and he lays down correctly.
And a great win for Joe Awada. He breaks the tie and takes the chip leadership.
He's been there before and came back like a tiger, so
I'm still very worried myself.
Joe Awada used to be a professional juggler. He showed us some of his fiery skills earlier tonight on Fremont Street.
Only in Las Vegas.
And now hoping to win his first World Series bracelet. Joe was also a poker dealer in Las Vegas, but now he's a casino games inventor. And you see the Toyota chip count and the rift between the two. Awada at 648, Luske at 72. Marcel Luske actually on the bring-in. He's got a 6-up and ace-jack in the hole. Awada with split eights will complete the bet to 8,000. Marcel will call it. Awada in control 2-1 right now.
And now 2 pair for Awada.
I check.
He checks it, perhaps trying to trap Marcel, and Marcel checks as well.
5th Street now. Checks.
And Awada sees that the queen Luske got could not possibly help Marcel's hand, so he's going to bet this one.
Awada bet 16. Luske calls it.
And Marcel playing really fast and loose now with very few chips left. He has very little hand.
Now Luske has a flush draw.
He has picked up a flush draw, but 2 pair for Awada will continue to bet and get called.
Luske only on a draw right now. Now we go to the river card.
He's on a draw for his tournament life right here. He's got very few chips left, and he's going to be all but out of here if he doesn't make this draw.
Awada with the ace.
So he's improved to aces up now.
And Luske 2, he got the spade.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow.
He's been behind this. He can't even believe he made his draw. He has been behind every step of the way in this hand.
You see him double check it? So now Luske in command, and he is going to go all in with his 13,000.
And Awada gets up and wonders if the river has done him in.
13.
Oh, he feels better. Kissing him for good luck or goodbye?
Goodbye.
And now they show. And on the verge of a championship, Joe Awada sees victory snatched from him again. You know, what a hand and what a time for Marcel to draw that spade.
That's the one I was worried about. But doesn't matter. I'm gonna bet it or. He only had 13 left, so it doesn't matter.
And Joe Awada has to be having flashbacks to his heads-up duel against Scott Fishman in Hold'em earlier in this tournament when Fishman hit the miracle card to take it away from him and then won the championship on the next hand. The difference here is that Awada still has a huge chip lead.
Marcel with a 3-up. He's responsible for the bring-in. He does. Joe Awada, split sixes and an 8. He'll complete the bet. Marcel calls it.
Marcel playing almost like he's under some contractual obligation to play a whole lot of hands now.
Awada working on a flush and a straight. He'll bet. Luske calls.
And not much from Marcel. Jack high.
5th Street. No help, no improvement, but a bet from Awada, 16,000.
Still very little from Marcel, who'll now call with queen high.
And that chip stack dwindling quickly from Marcel. And now a pair of queens for Luske and a flush draw for Awada.
Marcel got lucky there to pick up queens to take the lead in the hand, but he's got to fight off a flush draw now.
The bet from Luske, the call from Awada, now the river card.
And Marcel is down to his last bet if he wants to take it. He's got 16,000 in front of him.
And he looks at a river card of 2 of clubs.
He does not improve. He's got a pair of queens, and he is all in. Now, Joe Awada doesn't know it, but if he gets a second pair here, that will be good enough for this championship. And, of course, if he picks up the flush, he'll know he's a winner.
Did he get it? Did he get it?
Yes!
He did indeed. Joe Awada picks up the diamond on the river and wins his 7-card stud world championship, breaking through and earning his first World Series of Poker bracelet, defeating a very worthy Marcel Luske.
If it was not today, it was not meant to be. So maybe I'll do it another time. This is not actually my best game.
But after getting his heart broken, it is now Joe Awada's best game, everything going his way, winning his first bracelet.
the second final table you made here at the World Series. Was there anything you took from that final table that you applied today?
This is a totally different feeling. Coming first, winning the championship, especially this particular championship, it means a lot to me. Plus getting my hands on this bracelet too. I've been waiting for this. Finally.
Joe Awada, congratulations. You are a world champion of 7-card stud at the World Series of Poker.